so welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be trying out the new e.l.f Luminous Putty blushes. I'm such a big fan of all of e.l.f.'s putty things. So when I saw these, like luminous putty blushes, I was like, okay, these were made for me. So I got all 6 shades directly on e.l.f.'s website. I'm not sure if you guys can get these in stores yet, but they are available online, and I believe Ulta is going to carry them. So yeah, today we're going to be doing some cheek swatches, arm swatches, and we're going to compare all the shades, the finishes, and we're going to see if these are worth the hype. So I hope you guys enjoy. Definitely grab a snack and let's get into it. Okay, so starting off with the shade Maui. This is the lightest color that I have, and it says here it's a lightweight buildable putty to powder blush that blends into the skin, giving you a pop of color with natural shimmer. These are also infused with argan oil and vitamin E, and it's a buildable formula. So I like the fact that it says it's a putty to powder blush, so it looks like this could be something that you could use before powder and then also after if you want to add a little bit more. So I'm going to try that out once I finish up the rest of my makeup, but for now I'm just going to do the swatches directly on my cheeks with a brush. And the only thing that I have on right now is just moisturizer, and I'm going to be using the e.l.f Complexion Duo brush to apply each of these. I actually have 2 brushes right here, and these are clean. I just spot cleaned them, and I actually just picked this up right before I started filming, but this is the It Cosmetics brush bath. You can get this at Ulta. It's one of my favorite splurge items if you ever want to spot clean your brushes in between. So first shade is Maui. This looks like a really pretty like natural pink. So I'm going to take the brush, and how I like to apply usually all the putty products is just take the brush and dip directly into the product. These aren't super pigmented like the blushes and the bronzers, so it's a buildable formula, which is nice. So you could dip directly in here and apply it on your face, and it's not really going to be like really intense. Ooh, pretty. Definitely has that luminous finish. It's really pretty. It's not like too much. I love this color because it's just like a natural blush shade, and like I said, this formula is buildable, so when you first dip your brush in, you're not going to get a ton of pigment on your cheeks, but you can always add more if you want more of that color to show through. But that finish is stunning, so I love this color. Again, this is the shade Maui. This is probably going to be like my favorite everyday shade. Ooh, I love this color, and I'm going to actually apply one of the regular putty blushes on the other side just to show you guys the difference of the finishes. And this one's in the shade Tahiti. It's not the same color, but you get it. I love this color, by the way. It's also like a very natural pink. It gives off sort of like that sunburn kind of look. So definitely you can see the original putty blushes. They give you that flush on the cheeks, but the finish is like totally matte. So maybe if you have oily skin, or if you just don't like luminous blushes at all, you might love this formula better. So this is the original putty, and then this is the luminous putty. So it's very dewy actually, and the more that you add, I noticed the more of that dewy effect you're gonna get on your skin. The next shade I have is Bermuda. So this one is a little bit more of like a natural rose shade, whereas Maui was a more like lighter pinky mauve. And looking at this now, it actually, like as I open it up, it looks like it has more of like an orangey kind of peachy undertone to it. Let's try Bermuda. Oh, this is pretty. This is also really nice. So if you like something maybe a little bit less pink and more orangey coral, this color is for you. I love the finish of these. I just think it's so pretty, and you can see when you first like dip the brush in, you're gonna get a lighter wash of color, but they're definitely buildable. Look at that. That is stunning. Next color is Belize, and this is like a peachy orange. Beautiful, my kind of vibe. But lately I've also been so into like more pinky blushes, and it really honestly just depends on my makeup look. But this is like actually, yeah, a true bright orangey peach, and comparing it to the previous shade, it is much brighter. So again, this is the shade Belize. I like this. This is actually a very wearable orange blush. So this is one layer of Belize. Yeah, this is like a hot orange. Wait. Okay. It looks a little splotchy, this one right here. So I feel like maybe the more that you add and you're kind of like stippling the product in that one area, it could get a little splotchy. So you might have to kind of just take your time with wherever you're applying it and just blending it in really small like stippling motions instead of like rubbing, because if you rub, you can see that you're going to make the product look very splotchy. So stippling the product is key, but also be careful with adding too much because it can maybe look a little bit splotchy. So I think the key with this is you can build it up, just do it gradually instead of doing it like a lot of product at a time. I'm adding a lot just to show you guys the color, but if you are building it up, do it gradually. But I still really love this color. My favorite shade is the first one that I used though, Maui. I just think it is the perfect pink for my skin tone. But I love this like orangey undertone that this one has as well. I think it's perfect for summer. The next color that I have is the shade Barbados. And this color reminds me a lot of the original putty blush in the shade Bali. It's kind of like, actually looking at it, it's like the same exact color, but I'm sure the finish is obviously different. But it's like a brick red color. And I know this shade is like really intimidating, but this is actually one of my favorite color blushes. And I feel like it's underrated. Enough people don't talk about it, but it's very wearable. So I told you guys, like these kind of shades, they look scary in the packaging, but when you actually put it on, it's wearable and you can really like maneuver it to your liking. But I actually really love this formula. So here is Barbados. You can see it is just the most beautiful bronze shade. The next shade we have is the color St. Bart's. Do you guys remember in the movie 13 Going on 30? That's the first thing I thought of with this name. But when Jenna goes to Matt and she's like, Matt, who is St. Bart's? Do you guys remember? Do you know what I'm talking about? Anyways, that's what this name reminds me of. But this is like a gorgeous raspberry shade. I love colors like this. There's a lot of blush. This is probably not like my first choice as far as like favorite colors, but I think it's a beautiful shade. You could probably tone it down if you use a little bit less product, but initially this is a very bright raspberry blush and it's one of the brighter shades. So even like when you do a little bit, you're still gonna get like that pop on the cheeks. And the last color that I have is Isla del Sol. I love that name. It's like a bright, true, bright, hot orange. This blush is brighter in person than it looks on camera. It's intense. Like what you see on camera is that, but times 10 in person. It's so bright. And whenever you are working with these, you do have to kind of like rub your brush in to get past that first layer. But once you do is when you start to really get that pigment. So just something to keep in mind. Don't be afraid to like really get in there and swirl your brush in the product. So again, that's kind of like a really light layer of it. So it can be actually a very wearable orange, even though it is so bright. But you can see the more that you add, the more of that orange that you're gonna get on your cheeks. I actually like this blush. I think depending on the makeup look, this would look so beautiful. I feel like with like, let's say a monochromatic orange, like very warm, smoky eye, and then you do like a really light peachy orangey lip, and then this orange blush. But even though this is the brightest color, I feel like the raspberry color that I just used before this in the shade St. Bart's is actually more vibrant versus this one. This is definitely like light to buildable. Like I said, you have to be careful because it can look a little splotchy like when you build up, I feel like some of the brighter shades. So you really have to take your time when you're blending this out. Also, of course, I don't have any foundation or anything on my skin right now. This is just my bare skin, but I just wanted you guys to see the color, to be honest, more than anything. But I'm gonna apply this over top of my foundation because I want to wear one of these colors throughout the day anyways. So I'm gonna just finish up my makeup here on camera with you guys. I'm gonna spray a little rose water for some extra hydration. And I'm gonna press that in. This feels so good. And then I'm gonna use Milani Supercharged Dewy Primer. If you know, you know. This is like one of my all-time favorite primers. I just want something really hydrating today, and this is like a moisturizer, but it's a good base for your foundation as well. This is literally dewy skin in a container. Like, I love it. So let me know what you guys think about these blushes because I'm like living for them, to be honest. I think they are so pretty and they're definitely going to be a hit for the summer. For foundation today, I'm going to use the Oma Beauty Flawless in Real Life foundation, and I have this one in the color Honey Honey T1. And I'm going to use my Real Techniques 202 brush. Dang, I forgot how good this foundation is. It's bomb. You can get it at Walmart. For concealer, I'm going to use Dominique Cosmetics Wide Awake Concealer, or Awake. It's her new concealer. It's bomb, and I love the applicator. And I'm using the shade Café con Leche. I need to get a little bit of a darker shade, maybe like one shade above this. But this foundation isn't my perfect shade, so this should help to balance everything out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the putty blush now, and I'm going to set my makeup with powder and everything so we can see how that looks with powder, and then I will add a little bit more over top after I set my makeup to see how the product lays over top of powder, because it does say it's like a putty to powder formula, so it's meant to kind of like dry down like a powder. So we'll try that out. And I think the color that I'm going to use today, like my favorite shade out of all of the ones, is Maui. It's just the perfect pink. Oh yeah, it definitely goes on a lot smoother over a foundation or like, you know, a complexion product versus just the bare skin. Still be careful building these up because you could still get that splotchiness if you're doing too much at a time. If you have fair skin, I think you would also love this color. It is pretty light, so I might actually even use another color over top. I think I'm actually gonna layer with the same brush. I'm gonna go in with Bermuda just to like emphasize it a little bit more and make it slightly brighter because Bermuda is a brighter color. I like those two mix. That actually looks beautiful. So, okay, favorite color, Bermuda and hold on, where's the other one? Maui. Bermuda and Maui, two favorite colors, like so perfect. And the powder that I'm gonna use is the LYS Triple Fix Translucent Setting Powder. If you know, you know, like literally hit pan on it. I need to order another one, but this is the best, like most natural finish powder. And I'm gonna use the same powder for my under eyes and my face as well. I just like to use different brushes and for my T-zone because the brush just fits really nicely in this area right in between my brows. So even after you set, you can still see that luminosity peeking through, which is what I wanted to test out and I love. Beautiful. I'm not even gonna add any like powder blush or anything over top because I want to see how this is gonna wear throughout the day. I'm just gonna do a little bit of bronzer on my forehead, but that's it. And I'm using the Fenty Instant Warmth bronzer in the shade Shady Biz. I'm also just gonna put a little bit down here. Just to also show you guys, since this does say it's a putty to powdered blush formula, I'm gonna add a little bit more over top of this powder just to see how it looks. So I'm gonna take a little bit more of the shade Bermuda and just add a tiny bit over the powder. Yeah, it really doesn't look like it's picking up any of the foundation either underneath. It's just very luminous. So I think if you have dry skin, you would love this formula. So it looks like you can layer this also over top of powders and it doesn't lift any of the foundation or any of the products underneath, which is great. So let me finish up the rest of my makeup. I'm gonna just do lower lash mascara and a lip combo. I don't know what lip I'm gonna do. Should we just do the lip color on camera? Let's do it. So I'm gonna do the LA Girl Shockwave Nude Lip Liner in the shade Coquette. I'm gonna add a little bit more powder. I just wanted to see how it would look over top of the powder, but it's really, really glowy. So I'm just gonna kind of set that to tone it down a little bit because I'm gonna wear this throughout the day. But I just wanted to show you guys that you can lay this over top of your powder and it won't like alter your foundation or anything. And then I'm gonna add Milani Color Fetish Matte Lipstick in the shade Pleasure. And I'm gonna add a little bit of Fawn Beauty Gloss in the shade Slippers. So it is pretty early right now. I'm gonna check back in with you guys later on and we'll see if the blush has faded or how it looks. But right now, first impressions, I think this formula is amazing. Love the colors, love the shades, love the formula, and I like how these are buildable. So far, no complaints other than the fact that you do gotta be careful with the bright shades building them up. But I feel like also laying down one layer of foundation or tinted moisturizer or whatever is definitely gonna help. But other than that, I think the blush is amazing, especially for $7. So I can't wait to see how this is gonna wear. So I'll come back in a few hours and we'll see how it looks. Hey guys, I'm back and right now it is just after 8 p.m. So it has been a good like almost 8 hours since I've been wearing this makeup. It was like around afternoon time when I started applying everything. I have to say, I think this looks so beautiful. Like the blush is still so vibrant and glowy. I do need to touch up my makeup, but let's just focus on the blush for a minute because it is just stunning. It has not faded. It is still like super vibrant and extremely glowy. And I have to say, I really love this formula and this is gonna be like my new go-to for everyday makeup. And these three shades are my personal favorites: Bermuda, Maui, and Belize. Don't get me wrong though, I do like the other ones as well, and especially for more specific makeup looks, I'm definitely gonna be using these because I love matching my blush with my makeup or like my eye makeup lip product. So I think these are gonna be such a hit this summer. Definitely recommend. For $7, you really cannot go wrong with them, and I think you guys are gonna love them, but they are so good. So I'm curious to know if you guys have picked these up, and if you have, let me know if you've tried it. What are your favorite shades? What do you think of the formula? I would love to hear from you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye.